Yep, just sitting here and thoughts are going through my mind. I have emotions because I'm seeing signs all around me that remind me of my cat, Caesar. And if you know, when you've been watching my videos, you know recently he passed away. One of the hardest things I had to deal with. And I even made a video about it. I'll probably occasionally post here and there about him, shorts or whatever, but I'm looking on the ground and he used to love tearing up paper if he got frustrated or he was hungry or he needed something from us, such as his litter box clean. We know he would start tearing up paper that he found on the floor. And so we always made it a habit that if something important to us that was on paperwork fell on the ground and we didn't pick it up, Caesar would shred it. And so we made it a habit to pick it up. And I was just looking at some paper on the ground, like maybe I need to pick that up so Caesar don't mess it up. And then there's that realization that Caesar's not here anymore. And I'm looking on the ground and there's these little shreds of paper where Caesar, shredded these pieces of paper. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's just little shredded pieces of paper that Caesar has shredded. And they're laying on the ground. And I was thinking about sweeping because, you got to sweep up and keep things tidy, and there's no reason to pick up the paper because Caesar's not going to shred it. And then I'm like, do I really want to sweep up this paper? Because when I sweep it up, this is going to be the last time I ever sweep up Caesar's paper that he tore to shreds. And my wife recently had that moment to where she was sweeping in the living room and she, it was personal. She started weeping and I came down. I recognized she was having a moment because she was sweeping the living room and all the cat hair was up. And she realized that was probably her last time sweeping in the living room where she would have to sweep up the cat hair. And throughout the house, we have cat hair here, there, and everywhere. And when we see this cat hair, of course, we think about our cat. And he's no longer with us. And so now we have to begin the process of picking up the pieces and moving along because you still got to live life. You still got to put your shoes on and go about your day and your weeks and your months and eventually turns to years. But you never forget. You'll always remember the people that was dear to you or the animals you had that were dear to you. You never forget them. You always remember them. And I'm always going to remember Caesar, I'm always going to think about him. I'll probably think about him every day, I guess. The mind is funny how it works sometimes. Sometimes things elude us. And even over time, as our body deteriorates, so does our mind. And some of us lose memory. Some of us don't. It happens to animals and humans. Caesar remained sharp up until his last breath. But I've seen where, depending on the illness, the mind starts forgetting and people don't remember people. And that's a reality too. And looking back at life, talking about paperwork, and this is a prison and crime related channel. If you left your paperwork on the ground and you needed to verify who you were, because the other convicts wanted to see your paperwork, well, Caesar would have shredded it to shreds. And you wouldn't have had no paperwork. And you would have had to, I guess, plead your case. I hear all these paperwork stories. But that's just my thoughts. This isn't, a super entertaining video, nor did I expect it to be. But sometimes, if we're keeping it real, we just got to share thoughts. And that's what I want to do on a pen and a shank. I want to keep it authentic and real and just share thoughts sometimes. It's not going to be this explosive story that I tell every single time, right? And I don't want that to be the case every single time because sometimes it's just my thoughts on the moment. And other times I'm remembering something vividly and I'm going to express it vividly. But that's what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to give you a moment inside my mind and inside my thoughts and where I was at this exact moment. And I hope you do engage with the content. check out the other videos. I have a long list and a long library of videos that I've been putting out for, over a year now. And I think there's something in there that would interest you, and probably some surprising stuff in there as well. That's where we're at. Give us a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank. And as we beginning to take some momentum and gather some momentum, and the wheels will begin to roll, and I think we're starting to build a community on the Pen and the Shank and this channel, let's, share your thoughts. What else would you like to see on the channel? What do you like? Hey, what do you don't like? We're never going to always agree with each other 100%. There's no human being in this world that any one of us agrees with 100%. That's not the way life works. You know what makes life interesting? That we're all unique and unusual in our own ways. And we all have something to offer. Even if we have varying viewpoints or varying experiences, we can respect one another without it being crazy, or without getting offended by every single little thing, That's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking I got these other awesome videos that I want to share with y'all. I got a bunch of ideas. I type my ideas out. I'm full of ideas. My mind has a never-ending database of ideas. I'm constantly thinking of them. I can't even keep up with them. And so I write some of them down. There's something else I'm going to share with y'all that y'all might not know about me. I've always been creative. I write. I've actually written a few novels while I was in prison. And over the years, I thought about getting them edited, but I don't want to get them edited. I just want to get them edited not to edit it to the point to where I rewrite and repolish them and add to modern stuff to them. I want to keep them raw and in the form that I wrote them while I was in prison. I wrote 2 books in prison, and I never did get them published. I just need to get them edited. And I wrote other stuff too. I'm a writer. I always did write and create. And, I like to speak. I like to share thoughts. Used to journal, but I'm thinking about getting those books edited and put out. And so you may have an opportunity to see where 20-something, early 20-year-old, 18, 19-year-old, Greg was at in his journey, because that's what the books will reflect, a young man's thoughts during that time. And I write creative stuff. It's not, it's not self-help. And I do have that stuff too, but this is fiction. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank. Let's get it.